What's up, YouTube? This is the Disillusionist back for another video. The first video, Socialism Bullshit, with a question mark, got about 50 views. Not staggering, but maybe we can double up on this video. Maybe we can get closer to 100. If I can keep doing that, keep that trend up, then I could get a good little base of people, viewers who enjoy the content. Hopefully you enjoy it. If not, just send me an email or a direct message that just says "fuck you" is a picture of you spreading your asshole to me. Whatever you want to do. If you like it, of course, subscribe, comment, all that good shit. Last time we talked about socialism. Today I want to talk about social justice warriors, the SJW crowd. There are people who describe themselves as SJWs. There are people who use it as more of a derogatory term for people they disagree with. I think an SJW is someone who wants, to end racism, to end sexism, to make these things a thing of the past, to bring forth a new ideology. But I feel a lot of them are getting trapped in these mindsets that are really more counterintuitive than anything. If you have ever had somebody tell you to check your privilege, someone who pointed to your skin color to maybe make your argument seem less valid, you're probably chatting with an SJW. And I've had some run-ins with them in the past, and I think that the horrible irony of this movement is that they're fighting sexism and racism while they themselves are being terribly sexist and racist. I'll give you an example. So my last big run-in over one of these identity politics issues was when the day after Donald Trump was elected, there were all these stories coming out, all these fantastic inflammatory stories of people who were being attacked, people who were having racist things yelled at them and all this shit. And I saw some of these stories where they seemed like your typical internet bullshit. A story that isn't so unbelievable that it's impossible that it could be true, but it doesn't seem like something that could actually happen. For instance, the one that really set me off, was the big story I think got the most amount of coverage, was about a woman who was attacked by a bunch of men wearing Make America Great Again hats, a bunch of Donald Trump supporters, and was robbed and had a knife held up to her and had her purse stolen. And a bunch of other shit said to her. There's, many other stories like this that came out, and I saw them, and my first reaction, I just made a post saying, hey, let's take a moment, let's not believe everything we hear right now. America's in kind of a tossed up state emotionally. So let's wait on these stories. Let's see if there's any validity to them. And the backlash that I had, because I said some things where I said I bet that it's probably just a bunch of people trying to garner internet attention, which maybe wasn't the nicest thing to say, but it was what I believed. Just to preface this story, I also, by the end of all of my interaction with this conversation, everything that had happened, it turns out that I was right, that a bunch of these stories had been faked and falsified, that a lot of the shit that was circulating on the internet didn't actually happen and was somewhat untrue. So what ended up happening is I had a bunch of people commenting on this Facebook status that I made, essentially within the first couple sentences of their argument, naming my my race, my gender, and my sexual identity. I'm a straight white male. Heard that in every argument, and then saying that because I was privileged and all these things, that I couldn't believe how, I couldn't even understand how harmful I was being. And I tried to make arguments saying, look, what I'm saying is don't be afraid. America isn't this cesspool of racist bigots. Like, that none of that's circulating in the media is true. We need to just calm down, recollect, and make sure that we don't have Donald Trump in the office 4 years from now. That's the point I'm getting at. Don't overreact. And got this huge backlash of just, you're a white male and you couldn't be more wrong about this. You know, these people are being harmed and are feeling all this shit, and how dare you say these things to them. And it turns out that I was right. And that was proven within the conversation. And I think one of the saddest things, and I think this really encapsulates the problem of the SJW culture, is that even though I had been proven to be right within that status, no one acknowledged it. No one ever said, okay, well, I see what you're saying now, and you seem to be correct. Just kept getting shit on, you know, by people who just wouldn't accept the fact that, you know, yeah, I was being kind of an asshole, but I was an asshole who was right. That's when you're so focused on identity politics, when you can't separate someone's argument from their skin color or their gender, you're gonna miss out on a lot of good ideas. You're gonna miss out on a lot of potentially accurate information. When you're willing to discount somebody just based on their skin color and their gender, you're gonna completely miss what they're saying. That's how we got to a Donald Trump presidency in the first place. Everyone who was voting for Trump wouldn't talk about it because they knew that the SJW type crowd would just slam them and call them racists and sexists and homophobes and all this other terrible shit. So what the SJWs are doing is really limiting our conversation. They're censoring the conversation. And I think that by now we should all know that censorship is never a good thing. Freedom of speech is one of the tenets of this country, one of the biggest things that we talk about in this country, one of the freedoms that we most believe in, that we most proselytize. And it's important because you don't tell somebody that they can't say anything. You never censor someone, because once you censor people, you take them out of the equation. And even if what they're saying is wrong, if you don't hear that opinion, then you don't know that there's somebody saying something wrong. It's always good to express ideas and to share ideas, because that's how we grow. That's how we take. This is how these people see it. This is how these people see it. Now, how are we going to resolve the issue? Now that we know we've got everything on the table, how do we resolve the issue? When you censor people, you take things off the table. And if you think about it in a scientific way, if you were to make a hypothesis and then you to have a scientific study, go through the scientific process without eliminating all the variables, then your results are going to be skewed. And that's what censorship does. It removes variables from the equation. And that means that you're getting results that aren't totally honest or true. When you're telling somebody, I am here to fight racism, I am here to fight sexism, and I am going to do it by stopping these white male pieces of shit, no one can really take you seriously, because you're arguing against racism while acting racist. And do not believe this bullshit. I think one of the big issues that we're also seeing here is there seems to be this echo chamber that has spawned in the halls of academia, that have spawned within the millennial generation, that all of these ideas are totally concrete. They're what professors are teaching. There's no room for error there. And so people believe this wholeheartedly. They believe that these are the facts. So one of the things that we've gotten is this new definition for the word racism. That racism is not just the definition that we all should know, which is that if you've got somebody who is being prejudiced to someone based solely on what their race is, then they're being racist. Now there's this new definition that SJW seem to be putting to the forefront, that it is this, power plus this equals racism. It's all bullshit. The reason that there's this new definition is because I feel like SJWs have realized that they're saying some racist shit, so they've changed the definition of racism so that they no longer are able to be fit into that category of being racist. I've even had people within arguments say to me, look, I know I'm being prejudiced against your skin color. I'm being prejudiced against you because of your skin color, but I can't be racist against you because you're white. To which I don't even so you're okay with being prejudiced based on race? Is that what you're saying to me? Is that where we're getting to at this kind of, like, it's cool for you to be prejudiced based on race as long as that race is white? It's racism. It's sexist. It is cut and dry. There's no gray area here. When you are in a conversation or an argument or a debate with somebody and you say your opinion's invalid because of the color of your skin, you're censoring them. You're acting like a damn fool because you're trying to straw man somebody based on something that they have no choice over. So you can't possibly say that you're a soldier for justice when you're committing injustices on people, when you're taking people out of the equation based on their race. I think the quicker we get over this, the quicker that we move past this idea that you're because of your skin color, you have all these privileges attached to you. That doesn't mean jack shit to a white man who's working his ass off, 50 to 60 hours a week, working hard labor, who hasn't taken a vacation in 10 years, who has nothing that he can be proud of as far as having a big house or a successful family or some land that he like. These people who are trapped in these shitty remedial jobs who hate their existence but continue to do it because it's one way to survive. It's the way that they found to survive. When you call them racist and sexist or tell them that they have privilege, they're not going to be too keen on continuing a conversation with you. They're not going to be too keen on listening to this young millennial girl who's I'm vacationing from here to here, I'm going to Paris and now I'm in England, and you're so privileged because your white skin allows you all these privileges. It doesn't matter that you're working in a factory for 50 fucking hours or 50 hours a week. It doesn't matter that any of that's happening. You're privileged because you're white. Doesn't get us anywhere. Doesn't do anything. And it damn sure doesn't benefit anybody to have that conversation. We can acknowledge race, we can acknowledge the privileges that people are afforded, but to automatically apply those privileges just based on race or sex is something that really seems counterintuitive to somebody who is trying to fight racism and sexism. That's my opinion on that. That's my opinion on the SJW crowd. I'm sure that hopefully I can hear back from some of them. Hopefully we can keep talking and kind of grow from this. And I think that once we do, the SJWs, once we can get them on the right track maybe and harness that energy and that anger for something truly beneficial, that's all inclusive, that addresses the real problem, then we'll be better off as a species. We'll be better off in general. That's how I feel. So let's grow from this. Let's continue this conversation. Let's be better for everyone, for all of us, and let's focus on the true issue, which isn't racism and sexism. It's classism. The big issue that we're facing here is that the super wealthy control all of the goods and services, all of our resources as Americans. And we don't really have any say in how those resources are divvied up or used. It's the super wealthy that we need to be concerned with, not white racists, not males who are empowering this patriarchy movement, because all of that goes away when we all have a fair say and when we can all stand up for ourselves. Like, comment, and subscribe this video if you enjoyed it. I'm going to keep making them. If you've got something to say, I'll probably end up making quick updates to these videos to talk about some of the things that I'm hearing as far as feedback from the audience. Thank you so much for watching. I am the Disillusionist, and that's it for me.